Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to first episode of Verdad sin Filtro. We're excited to be here.
Nice.
Let's do a little clap. 2020, man, really excited for the things that are to come for this year. Very excited to have with me my friends as co-hosts.
Yeah,
How you guys feeling today? Ronald, how are you
Not
feeling
bad,
today,
not
man?
bad.
pretty,
guys.
pretty good, excited. You know,
How are you,
Doing
Christian?
good, excited to see what's gonna happen here.
What's going on with you, man?
Nothing much, guys. Very excited. 2020. You know how everybody says, well, new year, new me.
yep,
Can you guys agree with that?
yep. Got to start that diet, right, Fidel?
Okay, we're starting with Rose. Not a good sign. Guys, we're excited to start this program. 2020. We're trying to start a new trend. We don't see a lot of Christian podcasts. We're trying to be a trendsetter. Maybe other people can start doing podcasts, but we want to be the first ones. I'm excited to have Christian and Ronald, Fidel here with me. I know these guys from long time, man. Worship days. These guys were my go-to guys for worship services and like preachings. They were always with me.
Awesome musicians. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the most humblest dudes I know. You guys are very into music. We got my man over here, Ronald, that plays sax, accordion.
Accordion.
I play accordion.
He's accordion.
That's a fact. That's fun fact. I play accordion.
If it's an instrument, this guy plays it, man. Anything you got to say about that? Or 2020, any plans you have?
I got to teach Anthony how to play the bass.
Nice.
Nah,
We're gonna cut that out.
yeah, we're cutting that out, guys.
Nah, man. Just trying to do the best for God because I worship for God. I normally play the piano, so just maybe you want to expand on other instruments, maybe guitar, and get good at it.
Man,
Yep.
man, you Christian? I know you play bass, guitar.
For me, it's just just praying, practicing more, getting closer with God, and see where God wants to take us.
Nice.
Man, Fidel, anything you got to say for 2020? Man, we're excited.
2020, man. It's a new year. I think I like to challenge myself. I love to challenge myself. I want to do something that I've never done before, hence the podcast. I want to do other things too. Just challenge myself. And I know that everybody here, you guys, you three, are in your 20s. I'm the only one here that are in the 30s. So
One thing I do got to say that I've been praying to God, please, for 2020, give all these guys here 2020 vision. Because all of you guys right now are wearing glasses. You guys need to get on my level right now.
nice, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
This is the first time that us people are gonna watch. We're gonna be watching 2020. No, but 2020 is an exciting year. We having new things. Our ministry have united.
Yep.
This podcast, came. We've been talking about it for a few months. I remember in the summer, we were like just, brainstorming and saying, what can we do that hasn't been done? What's out there now, And we started making the list, right? This is here, this is here, this is there. And then we're like, hold on, what about a podcast?
Yeah.
A podcast.
Yeah, we see a lot of people, we see worldly people with a lot of podcasts, and a lot of people get connected. Because I think a podcast is something easy. Like you can be on a treadmill running, listening to, because a lot of people, they're quick nowadays. They're on the go. They want to listen to it in the car while you're doing your groceries. And, we just want to have this podcast,
It's much easier to listen to something than like actually sit down and watch something.
Exactly.
And if it's a podcast, it's just easier.
And I think the whole substance of this podcast, these other podcasts, they talk about, I was watching one with a cat. Who's just talking about a cat, And I think, and this is where the whole title comes in, La Verdad sin Filtro, the truth with no filter, And I know we had a few names before that we wanted to put up, and I think this one won. This one, it sounds great. There's only it's ironic that it's in Spanish, but it seems like we're gonna start doing it in English,
Yep.
And maybe when we have a Spanish guest, that speaks Spanish, maybe
We'll do Spanish. Yeah.
Spanish. But in the meantime, we could do the English speaking podcast. And what are we going to be talking about here, man? What's going to be different from this podcast from the other ones?
Well, we want to start talking about a lot of things people don't want to talk about. So we want to, there's a saying that we always say, we want to address the elephant in the room.
Where's the elephant?
I hope it's not a roast.
Yeah, it's imaginary.
Well, when we meant by addressing the elephant in the room.
No, I get it.
But the thing is in a Christian environment, in a Christian atmosphere, there's a lot of things that when I was growing up, and I mean, I think I could say that everybody here, we grew up in church.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we've seen a lot of things. And when we were watching these things happen in front of us, we have questions. Like, why did this happen? How did this happen? Where did this one go? And so we want to address these things, for example, the news came out, pastors committing suicide.
Yeah.
We're not talking about one. We're talking about many. There's a war right now, a religious war right now. We can't talk about the Bible. Anthony, you're Dominican. So in Dominican Republic, they banned the preaching in the transportation, in the trains. Yeah. Wow. What is going on?
And I feel like if the more we talk about it, is easy to understand, and we can try to address the problem. Because I think a lot of people don't want to talk about it because they're scared, or like of what other people might say. But I think this podcast will be nice to address certain topics people don't want to talk about. For they can start caring, because I think people don't want to talk about it because they don't care. Yep. So if we can bring a light, to certain topics,
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Christian, how old are you?
21.
So what would somebody your age would want to know? What about you, Ronald? How old are you?
I'm 25.
And so what are things that, you want to know? I'm 35. And there's things that, I still, and I've studied the Bible and I studied the Word, but I still have questions.
And there's just subjects that are taboo in church.
That's exact, and this is exactly what we want to talk about.
I was waiting for him to say it.
What we're expecting is that, and we're gonna have different guests.
Yeah.
And one thing about that is that I love to hear what other people's thought is, about different situations, different themes, subjects,
Now, all of us have something in common. We all play an instrument for God. We love to worship. And I know you guys started very early playing instruments. How did that come about? Was it something naturally that just came out? Or?
Well, you guys come from a family that you guys are awesome.
Yeah, give these guys a little background.
I started when I was in elementary school, just choosing an instrument here and there, and I never really got into anything until my mom was like, no, you gotta stick to one thing, and when you learn that, then you can move on. So for me, that was the saxophone. I played the saxophone in church for a while, then, just moved to the piano, learned a few other instruments here and there, but, that was my journey.
Okay, so who taught who? Was it Christian or?
Nah.
Yeah, just for the people that don't know, these guys are here. They're brothers.
Yeah. Who's older? I am.
Yeah, okay.
Do you guys get mixed up a lot? Like who's older or? Like,
they ask us if we're twins all the time.
Unidentical twins, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. And you play a few.
Well, I've been playing since I was probably 4 or 5 years old.
Wow. Nice.
I remember standing on a speaker, sitting on a speaker in the church playing guitar, and I just kind of caught here and there, and I started learning.
Well, and the thing with you is that you already have somebody to be looking at, watching, because he started playing. So and basically whatever the older one does, the younger one does. What about you, Anthony? Because Anthony, you play. How many instruments do you play?
I play different type of basses. I play the 4-string, the 5-string, the 6-string. I play
So
the
just
bass, and I just mess around with piano, guitar, but I really don't know what I'm doing. But
Nice.
mostly bass.
I'm glad you put that out there in the podcast.
But
You know?
I just wanted to ask you guys, do you think it's like a church thing? Like, it's like a lot of musicians, they're like very dynamic. They can play a lot of different things.
If it's a church thing?
Yeah. Because me and Fidel, we met this guy the other day, and he was telling us, oh, he plays the bass, but he knows someone in church, and he's like, wow, he's very good the way he plays, because they have ear. It's totally different from someone that learned it in the school. You think we have a certain type of advantage?
Well, a lot of kids, they get exposed to music in church.
That's true.
They get exposed.
I mean, there's advantages and to both. I feel like there's things to be learned in school, but I think the church also has a big part, especially depending on the church you do go to. The kind of music that they listen to, they play, they worship with, plays a big part in what kind of musician you become.
Now the whole controversy comes is what type of genre we should be playing.
Yes.
But the thing is, that's going to change no matter who you ask.
No, correct.
It's going to change who you ask.
Correct. Because I remember the church one of the church that I used to assist, they didn't want no merengue. And like a few years later, the church got filled up with Dominicans.
And that's all they play.
And that's all they play now. So I mean, personally, me, if the music, it is, how can I say? Because I don't want to, sound like anything goes. No, it needs to be holy.
Of course.
Any song, any music needs to glorify God.
Yes.
I think that's the most important part.
Yeah, I think the problem becomes when the music does not go toward God.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of nice songs, and they may be Christian because they're giving, good content. But I feel like if it's going to be sung in church as a worship song, to lead people into the presence of God, it needs to glorify God. It's all about Him.
So I think my opinion is that the type of music or the genre of music, it's a moot point. Meaning, it doesn't really matter. Just as long as we present God, we present the plan of salvation, Jesus,
And do you think there are some songs that probably lyrically are not going towards God? Like, I hear a lot of people say, wow, this song is like glorifying the person or glorifying the problem. Like, they keep on mentioning the problem and the problem. Do you think there's an issue with that nowadays?
There's a lot of these, I mean, in the secular world, there's conspiracy theorists, same thing in church. Like, there's people that they take a song and they're like, oh, but look, God's name wasn't mentioned. So who was he talking about? And I know you guys, I don't want to say the name, but so I think that every song needs to glorify God, needs to mention God, needs to mention Jesus, needs to mention the Holy Spirit, something, and has to bring a message, And I study the Bible. I also studied the lyrics of the song that I'm going to listen to, because I want to know if the songs are biblical.
Yeah, and a lot of people, they forget that a song can be a message too. Like, a lot of these songs are taken out of like a very dark place from a lot of these ministers that sing it. And I think that's when the song really touches all of us, and when we can all feel, a change.
I mean, what you said, Fidel, I feel like the Bible does tell us that we got to sing with, understanding,
yes,
and just know what we're singing, so it's important to know like the lyrics and the words, so people who are actually singing these songs, they're not just saying whatever, they're actually understanding what they're saying, worshiping God, and that's what God wants.
Yeah. So, and exactly, and this is one of the themes that, we're going to be inviting a lot of guests that are musicians. We're going to be also inviting preachers, evangelists,
pastors,
and we want to, and I know that the type, because look, I've been in church for a while. You guys been in church for a while, so the kind of rhythm that they used to play when I started church is totally different from now.
I'm surprised they had music back then.
It was only like 20 years
I thought
ago.
we weren't going to roast. What's going on?
So the the rhythm has changed because I know that
course.
the time, as the years go by, there's a new. We never knew about songo. We never knew about that. We just had the regular, himnario, the gloria, that we the marching, the waltz, what they would say. That's the only genre, and then it started going with merengue, with songo, with salsa, and now we even have reggaeton, Christian reggaeton, Christian rap, and I listen to the lyrics of these songs, and they have a message. They have a message, So, and this is what the program is going to be about. We want to talk about like the truth, but with no filter. I remember a case, and if we go to the Bible, Jesus is with the disciples, right? And the disciples, they hear someone else preaching the gospel, Jesus. He was preaching Jesus. And then one of the disciples tells Jesus, do you want me to go over there and shut him up? And Jesus says, no. Just because he's not from our 12, group.
He's not in the group.
He's not, no. He's still preaching Jesus, And I think that's what happens when we come and we say, oh, this type of music, no. This person, because he sings this type of music, we can't listen to them. Don't listen to them. No. Just because he's not in part, in the group, he's still preaching Jesus,
And I think that's one of the biggest problems also in church. Like, we want to put certain things we do, we want to impose it on other people, because not necessarily just because we were raised a certain way or our beliefs, we should force other people to think the same way. I think we're all free to do, whatever we want, And at the end of the day, we got to know that if we're doing something wrong, there's consequences to them.
Yeah. So, I mean, one of like you guys, and I'm going to go to you guys because you guys are pastors' kids, PKs. So you guys have dealt with, the leadership of church because you live with them. You live with them. So how hard is it now to be pastors' kids?
I think Ronald wants to answer first.
Yeah, I heard Ronald's.
I mean, it's hard. I mean, I think being a Christian nowadays is just hard in general.
Yeah, well, simple, yeah. Just being a Christian.
Just being Christian in general is hard. But, there's a lot of responsibilities that you have that you really can't say just because it's just something that's already like second nature. Things when it comes to God is just like second nature. It's not, you're not a pastor's kid. You go to church, you leave, you're good. But you feel more responsibility for the house of the Lord. You pray. You have to work harder. Yep.
Is there any like certain situation that you probably encountered in the church?
Yeah, well, it's just experience. We want to hear about experiences. You don't have to say names. You don't have to say, just the date.
Here we don't say names. We just say initials. So we don't want to be too exact. You know what I mean?
So if something does happen, and this is where also us Christian folks, we need to understand that, pastors, their kids, they're also in the same, boat as everyone in church. Yep. So
we're humans.
How have you guys ever felt like that? Have you guys ever felt or been in a situation like, I don't want to, say, because a lot of things happen. I mean, if it's happening outside, it's gonna happen inside, because the same people that live outside are coming into our churches.
Yeah.
So have you guys not experienced, but have you? What's like the worst that you guys have gone through, like as PKs? Because I know there's a lot of PKs right now listening. What's like the worst? The worst, like, and I'm glad because I know a lot of things happen, but you guys still firm in the faith.
Or if you guys can't think of something, what makes you go through it? Like, what gives you the strength and the patience to
Well, I honestly think like that's just God. That's just the simple answer is God. Because in the end, no matter what we're going through, God gives us the strength to continue and go along.
Yep.
And there's situations I'm trying to think of something, but it's kind of hard.
Have you seen your parents cry
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
for the church?
Yes.
Okay? That's what I
Yeah.
mean.
When you think of, pastors and ministry, people don't often see that it's a full-time job when you're being a pastor of a church, just because you have to always be praying. You always have to be fasting. You always have to be looking for God. And at the same time, any member calls you for any reason, you're the pastor. You got to answer and make sure that they're okay, because they're like your children, So it's like they have us and then they have everyone else in the church, So it's not an easy job to be a pastor. And then, kind of as the PKs, you kind of see that because it kind of reflects everyone that looks up to you. So you kind of on call
Kind of
too.
hold the same responsibility.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, correct. So
hold the
now
same
a question: do you guys have it in you that if God calls you to be a pastor, that you would want to do it?
Honestly, if God says it, there's really no saying no.
Okay, saying okay,
Okay,
but
guys.
don't forget, it's a choice. You could say, yes, I'm gonna keep on, I'm gonna accept the calling, but in other words, seeing what you have seen already with your father,
I get what you mean.
with your mother.
There's no doubt in my mind if God tells me this is what I want you to do, I'm gonna listen to God.
Okay, guys, we got them on record.
Yeah.
They're willing to pastor any church.
Yes.
No.
Give us a call.
You see, the reason why I asked is because I asked somebody that, and I know that person, like personally, like I knew what she went through, as a PK, and she told me, I have the calling, but I don't want to put my kids, and this is what like impacted me. I don't want to put my kids through everything that I was put through.
Yep.
And I was like, wow. Like that hurt me. I'm like, are we members so bad, that we're actually, stopping someone that's called for leadership, for pastor, because of the kind of the way we treat them, and there's other themes too that we're going to be talking about. I want to talk about politics in church. Can a pastor, what do you think a pastor, can he join the Republican Party or the Democratic Party as a congressman? I want to know.
Of course.
I want to know. There's so many. And this is one of the questions too, and this is why we're doing the list of all the guests, and we want to make sure that each of the guests, they're qualified to talk about.
Give us something.
What do we want to know about? Because what comes to the mind of a pastor, female or male, that they think about committing suicide? What comes to a person's mind, period,
To want to do that.
We gotta go to the root. Is it a spirit that is it real problems they're facing? Like, or do you just simply tell these people, oh, we're gonna pray for them, let's see if it goes away? I think to some extent we need some professional help.
Yes.
I agree.
I don't think everything is prayer. Well, prayer does solve.
Prayer does solve the problem, but I think sometimes you do need, medical help or any kind of help. Sometimes just talking to someone really does help.
Yeah, because prayer is just...
It's talking to God, and God can help you, but I think as a Christian, we also need to take action.
Yeah, it's only part of the problem.
Exactly.
Part of the solution.
Part of the solution, exactly.
We pray.
And by no means are we saying that prayer doesn't work and prayer doesn't...
Yeah.
No, prayer works. So please pray.
I think a lot of religious people are caught up in that. Just pray. But if you just pray, how are you going to pay for your electric bill? How are you going to...
But correct. It's like saying somebody that is looking for a job and is only praying and is only fasting, but he doesn't wake up in the morning, does his resume, and puts it in every, for example, too, and I'm gonna go a little bit more with it because I'm with you guys that are single, that are bachelors. For everyone watching, how does a guy, a Christian guy or a Christian girl, is asking God, send me the one, send me the one, send me the one. But when a guy approaches them, they have this bad attitude. And when a girl approaches them, so I understand, and this is exactly what the Bible says. And there's a story where Moses, remember when Moses was stuck between the Egyptian, the army, and the Red Sea.
Mm-hmm.
He prayed, and God said, "Look, there's time to pray, but there's time now that you need to act. What do you have in your hands?"
Mm-hmm.
So yes, prayer works. Prayer works. But what else works? Action. I mean, this is why these people go to school for. This is why God gave them the wisdom,
I mean, and prayer works also, like in that situation. Prayer works because you want to build that communication with God. But then when the action comes, you're filled with God's power in order to do what you have to do. Take action, not just sit around and like, well, it is what it is.
Yeah, let me just pray 10 minutes and God wants to give me 10 million.
Yeah.
So, I'm very excited for this new year, this podcast. This is the team: Anthony Arias, Christian Urquiza, Ronald Urquiza, and myself, Fidel Alvarado. I'm very excited. I just want, if possible, this to be like something that everybody, Christian or non-Christian, could just listen to and just like, wow, that's what I want is for them to say, wow, that I was thinking about that. And I never got the answer because, the Christian folks were, thinking that this is taboo, like what you said. Oh, we can't be talking about this. And yet it's happening in our churches.
Yep.
It's happening,
Yeah, we just want people to know that we're not experts on this. This is
By no means.
Yeah,
by no means.
This is
no.
our first time doing this. We probably do this every time we're in the car. We have a conversation. We just now wanted to make this.
This is the first time we're recording it.
We want them to join our conversation.
Yeah.
That's it. So
Definitely.
us four, just having these, everybody who's ever, listening, just join the conversation. And I know we're gonna put the email up. We're gonna put the social media up. If you guys wanna ask us a question, if you guys, just
Email us, DM
DM us.
We're here for you guys.
Contact us.
We'll try to see if we can do phone calls. Maybe we can call
We
them
could
live.
do phone
Yeah.
calls. Yes.
We can do a Q&A, questions and answers.
Nice.
You guys have our Instagram. You guys could DM us any questions you guys want us to answer, and we'll be happy to try to attack
Mm-hmm.
the question.
Yes.
Thank you guys for being with us on this episode. Anything else you guys want to say before we leave?
No, we're just excited. Really excited about this new journey we're taking together. And it's going to be fun. So stay tuned.
Very nice.
Definitely.
Yeah. And for everybody that's listening, and maybe in the next podcast, I'll bring my accordion, and maybe I could do some background music. Yes, I do. I really do play accordion just for the people.
Guys, we'll show you the guards will not let him in into this place.
We won't torture you guys like that. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Thank you guys. Have a good one.
All right.
Have a good one, guys.